20 Best Star Trek Moments of the Last 20 Years. Star Trek has boldly gone into some amazing new territory over the last 2 decades. From cinematic reboots to groundbreaking television and unforgettable character arcs, the last 20 years have proven that Star Trek still has warp drive to spare. Whether you're a fan of Picard's quiet intensity, Burnham's emotional leadership, or even the chaos aboard the Cerritos, there's been something for every Trek fan. Here are the 20 best Star Trek moments of the last 20 years, ranked not just by emotional weight or action, but by how boldly they lived up to the Star Trek ethos. 20. Star Trek 2009 Kirk takes the captain's chair. JJ. Abrams' reboot offered a fresh start, but one moment crystallized the baton passing to a new generation, a young James T. Kirk taking command of the Enterprise for the first time. It was cinematic, emotional, and full of legacy. 19. Star Trek Lower Decks or Riker saves the day Season 1 finale. Just when things couldn't get more chaotic, the USS Titan swoops in, jazz music playing, Riker at the helm with his signature grin. This surprise finale appearance reminded everyone that comedy and canon can coexist beautifully. 18. Star Trek Discovery The Jump to the 32nd Century. In an unprecedented twist, Discovery ditched its original timeline to go over 900 years into the future. This moment wasn't just bold, it rebooted the entire premise of the show and gave Trek its farthest point in the timeline. 17. Star Trek Picard Data's Final Goodbye. In Picard Season 1's finale, Jean-Luc gets to give Data a proper goodbye, something Nemesis never truly offered. Their quiet conversation in the simulated afterlife was both deeply philosophical and emotionally satisfying. 16. Star Trek Beyond a Sabotage Sequence. An action-packed highlight of the Kelvin timeline, the use of Beastie Boys' Sabotage as a literal weapon against an alien swarm was pure joy. It was absurd, brilliant, and exactly the kind of outside-the-box thinking Trek embraces. 15. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Spock's Human Side. Throughout Strange New Worlds, Spock wrestles with his Vulcan and human halves, but it's his awkward, endearing efforts to understand love, humor, and empathy that stand out. It adds layers to a character we've known for decades. 14. Star Trek Prodigy Hologram Janeway's Sacrifice. In Prodigy, Holo Janeway willingly deletes herself to protect the crew. For a kids' animated show, the moment packed an emotional wallop and showed how much heart and Starfleet loyalty can live even inside a hologram. 13. Star Trek Discovery Burnham becomes captain. After 3 seasons of struggle, loss, and self-doubt, Michael Burnham is finally named captain. The moment was earned and symbolically resonant, representation, growth, and resilience wrapped in a single rank pin. 12. Star Trek 2009 Vulcan's Destruction. Few Trek moments are as shocking as watching the destruction of Vulcan in the Kelvin timeline. It raised the stakes of the reboot to impossible levels and redefined Spock's trajectory in this alternate universe. 11. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. In this alternate reality, Lon and Kirk share a tragic love story across timelines. It's one of Trek's best time travel episodes in years, and the emotional fallout is felt long after the credits roll. 10. Star Trek Picard The Return of the Next Generation. By Season 3, Picard brought back Riker, Beverly, Geordi, Worf, Troy, and even Data, and it wasn't just for nostalgia. Their reunion aboard the restored Enterprise D felt like coming home for fans who waited decades. 9. Star Trek Discovery Saru becomes acting captain. As a Kelpian who overcame his prey species origins, Saru's promotion to captain wasn't just a plot point, it was symbolic of Star Trek's core belief that anyone can rise above fear and become a leader. 8. Star Trek Lower Decks Peanut Hamper's Betrayal. In a show known for its silliness, Lower Decks shocked everyone when a seemingly sweet exocomp turned against Starfleet. It was hilarious, dark, and surprisingly insightful about individuality versus duty. 7. Star Trek Beyond Kirk's birthday reflection. Kirk reflects on his father's legacy, his own journey, and the endless weight of command. For all the action in the reboot films, this quiet moment might be its most profound. 6. Star Trek Picard No-Win Scenario. This Picard Season 3 episode evokes the best of Wrath of Khan, life lessons in impossible situations. Watching Picard connect with his son Jack while facing death in a nebula is a masterclass in character work. 5. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds lift us where suffering cannot reach. One of Trek's best philosophical dilemmas, this episode asked whether utopia built on the suffering of a child could ever be just. It was haunting, morally complex, and pure Roddenberry. 4. Star Trek: Discovery First Contact with 10C. The 10C aren't just another alien, they're a post-scarcity, post-language species. Discovery Season 4's climax emphasized diplomacy, empathy, and the universal struggle to understand one another. 3. Star Trek: Prodigy Starfleet Academy Acceptance. When the young crew of Prodigy is finally invited to join Starfleet, it's a payoff not just for the characters, but for younger viewers watching. It's the dream of Star Trek made literal for a new generation. 2. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, those old scientists crossover. When Lower Decks characters Boimler and Mariner crossed into live action, it could have been a disaster, but instead it was one of the most charming, meta, and hilarious episodes Trek has ever produced. It celebrated fandom, legacy, and canon in equal measure. 1. Star Trek: Picard, the Enterprise D's return. Nothing hit harder than the sight of the fully restored Enterprise D in Picard Season 3. As the TNG crew took their rightful places on the bridge, it was more than fan service, it was closure, celebration, and the culmination of 35 years of storytelling. Honorable mentions: Georgiou's goodbye in Discovery, a surprisingly tender send-off for the Mirror Universe's deadliest woman. Una Chin Riley's trial SNW, tackling prejudice and identity through a courtroom drama. Spock smiles SNW, a rare emotional moment that speaks volumes. Q's final gift Picard, a mischievous god learns to love. Final thoughts. Over the last 20 years, Star Trek has redefined itself again and again. It's embraced animation, reboots, serialized storytelling, and comedy without ever abandoning its core values of hope, exploration, and empathy. These moments prove that the franchise isn't just surviving, it's thriving. Whether through nostalgia or novelty, Star Trek continues to boldly go where no TV universe has gone before. And if the past 20 years are any indication, the next 20 will be just as unforgettable. Let me know if you'd like a shorter version SEO-optimized excerpt, or if you want visuals or quotes added. Nothing hit harder than the sight of the fully restored Enterprise D in Picard Season 3. As the TNG crew took their rightful places on the bridge, it was more than fan service, it was closure, celebration, and the culmination of 35 years of storytelling. Honorable mentions: Georgiou's goodbye in Discovery, a surprisingly tender send-off for the Mirror Universe's deadliest woman. Una Chin Riley's trial SNW, tackling prejudice and identity through a courtroom drama. Spock smiles SNW, a rare emotional moment that speaks volumes. Q's final gift Picard, a mischievous god learns to love. Final thoughts. Over the last 20 years, Star Trek has redefined itself again and again. It's embraced animation, reboots, serialized storytelling, and comedy without ever abandoning its core values of hope, exploration, and empathy. These moments prove that the frank,